true that our generation is going that if you would try to describe the environment, the ecology in which we live, our last generation, meaning 21st century, including the newborns and us, the eldest of this generation, we are actually like the people in the desert. We are living within test tube. Test tube for humanity with all its pressures. There's heat. There's everything is being. It's the big. It's a like. It's a gathered power of many experiments that all coming together into, I would say, the great change in humanity. Okay, so going into even trying to sort of speak in terms of I can understand the forces and powers that are at play from history or from what I see is not intelligent,
Right.
to say the least, because it's as though trying to speak completely from a different environment, not understanding that actually it is a pressure of molding and trying to form a different face to humanity. And this is where Tselem, Dmut, I mean, the image of, is coming into the picture. Okay? So this is what is actually happening. So when this is happening, usually what we feel is that many events, trials, experiments of the past is going through us in an exponential way.
That's what I was going to start to describe to you, is what's been happening this week. I feel as if my face has been, it's going to sound crazy, but whatever, it's us, of like pottery layers, and they're successively just cracking and falling off. And then there are pieces on my eyes, like layers and layers of them. And like last night, I don't even feel like myself. I feel like I don't have any skin or any bones. I'm just like a blob almost. Like there's no shells. In
So it means
good?
your translation of what is happening is somatic. Yeah, there
Yes.
is.
Okay.
It happens to, there is a section of people that gets the translation of the work through somatic sensation. Yeah. Yeah, so it's to do with the skin, it's to do with the visceral reaction, which is not it's not a true reaction to something which is corporeal, but it's a translation of our apparatus to actually something that happens cross the border, what is called, yeah? Not in the border of our corporeal body, but outside. But it's what is called. I'll bring us back into the system. When there is a first extension of internal light, which we call the line, what we feel is the bashing and of the what we call that light which could not enter. Yeah, we call it circumlight, which goes out. It's as though the skin or the outer layer is growing sort of a sensor to actually feel it.
Exactly.
Okay, this is
I feel like I can feel everything and I don't know who I am.
okay because we don't, because it has to do with the plan, and this is what you're saying. You don't have a face, features
Right.
of true face. Why? Because everything that has to do with the circumlight is the plan that has not been yet actualized. So there's no face to it. There's no details. There's no reality. But we feel the pressure of it. Yeah, we feel the urgency of it, and sometimes we feel that it's bashing us. Definitely, for the last year, it's bashing us throughout the world. Yeah,
Mhm.
throughout the world.
So where is the work and the faith over,
Mm.
like
Yeah,
not
it's. I
try,
think
the new seeing,
it's.
like
Mm.
what's the next step?
First, I truly think it's in the surrender.
Mm,
In the surrender to first, in the surrender that there are actually two main um, issues with us. One issue is actually the admission that we are, though we see and we think we are very intelligent and we have the best opinion that could be moral opinion, to admit that we actually don't see, that we're completely blind and biased, and we act upon what we would pontify not to act like this from complete ignorance. We don't see anything that is true.
mm,
Because the question is a question of truth. Because why actually they're being punished? This is what they saw. For them, it's the truth. But they were the head, the leaders. They should admit that they are not able to see with those apparatus and ask to be lifted above their reason, above their will, into
mhm,
a different place. But they knew they're going to lose their leadership. Okay, so actually, what it suggests to us, it's time of change of leadership.
mhm,
This is what will happen. It's a change of leadership because they were all president and the head of the tribes. I'm speaking about people who had a spiritual attainment,
yeah.
but of completely last year, Egypt year, of sickness or will, which actually um, could, could not update itself.
Hmm.
Because when it wanted to update itself, it realized that it will lose its power and leadership. This is what happens in us. When actually the will to receive to oneself is faced with something that it cannot control, okay, the leadership or sovereignty, to give sovereignty to the spirit, it means that I, as I know myself, the leadership of the will to receive to oneself will be demolished.
Hmm.
This is why it's a change of leadership.
Oh, an internal change of leadership.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
if it will happen internally, it will happen externally. But it doesn't matter in the opinion where you
totally
are left
understand.
or right. But it's only
Oh,
inside. The
I
war
see.
starts inside. Truly, it starts inside. And when we are able to this is why I'm saying it's a question of surrender.
Because I've been so depressed, obviously, and upset since October 7th, but it's actually there's an astoundingly intact, beautiful, perfect structure that's been built. Like that's an alternative in a way. And
Mm.
it's
No, but people need this is what I'm saying. In surrender, first you have to admit
yeah.
and think about all the media of news and commentary and
Um,
politics that will disappear because they
yeah.
cannot hold the true sovereignty of the spirit.
So let me ask you this. I've been, and you'll understand the history of this, but I've been like astonishingly grateful to Baal HaSulam in the past month
Mm,
since I was in
mm.
Israel. And would he have been in this state already in a way, like this kind of seeing? It would seem so.
Well, I can tell you that Baal Sulam refused to sign any petition, any political petition at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Any. It doesn't matter whether it came from the Orthodox community, whether it came from the free community. It doesn't matter because it's a different language altogether. It doesn't matter where you come. It's actually quite clear in this article
Mm-hmm.
that those who are saying, "Well, I don't need the spirit. I'm working I'm studying Torah. I'm working for God. He will pay me.
Mm-hmm.
I will get my reward." And let's say the layman will say, "Well, I work for you. You pay me."
Right.
So in both cases, they're actually working for the payment.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very similar. So their language cannot explain anything. So the only point is actually what I do see is that living in our time, it doesn't matter what is the detail of the happening, whether it's war or threat to war or bombing, who is bombing who, it doesn't matter. They're all spirits,
Yes.
truly, yeah? They're all spirits in 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 the core of it. So we cannot, I hope it will cause people, more people, to see that what they see and the language that they explain actually has nothing to do with the truth of it, of what is happening. And they will search and wish for a different language and for a different way of getting their meaning. Yeah, not as payment.
Mm. I think
So I
also,
think it's pushing us there.
yeah,
Mm.
one of the things that I used to be upset about was like that a kind of this core holiness or the core essence, like the ikar of the spirit, could be polluted when, people who were focusing on payment instead of like serving or whatever,
Mm.
um,
Oh.
were involved with it. And I have come to see that it can't actually, that's what's so amazing. Like, it's so amazing. It can't be perverted. It can't be ruined. It can't be polluted. Nothing. It
Mm.
is always, it's like a solid state. I mean, it's oscillating, but it's a solid
Yeah,
state.
but you
Nothing's gonna,
actually need to cross the border. This is why I'm saying
yes.
it's. This is why I'm saying that surrender is so vitally important because it's actually an admission that I don't see, that I don't know, truly. Being so intelligent, I don't know, and what I see is actually um, is concealment of the truth, and I wish to be part of something else, which I really need the help to create in me within impregnation and new apparatus. So you can say that the act of Genesis and the act of the chariot was a Kabbalistic language till today. And today, the Kabbalistic language is impregnation
Mm.
because we needed a different apparatus, truly, to be sort of so that something will bring us into this test tube, womb, and actually um, engrave us with the ability to see, with the ability to actually adapt ourselves into the true forces that are being sort of, I don't know how to even describe the way that they act, extend themselves, or try to touch us, try to include us. Okay,
Mhm.
so we need this. So this is our time.
It's a birth process.
Yeah.